Hello, so I'm with.
Eric Gentry. I'm the RISE program manager here at Chabot College. And we have Mr. Marvin Warren. He is off camera, but he may be interjecting as he hears questions come our way. He is one of our RISE peer mentors.
May you please tell me more about the program?
Yeah, most definitely. So the RISE program, we've been on campus here for several years now. We started it as a campus support program, so we provide supportive services to Chabot College students who've been incarcerated, whether that be in juvenile hall, jail, or prison. And we help them, from ground zero, from enrollment, completing FAFSA, meeting with the counselor, creating ed plans, and then throughout their educational journey, we provide peer mentorship, empowerment workshops, and just a bunch of supportive services on campus. And most recently, we've rolled out in-person college classes inside Santa Rita Jail, where in spring semester 2023, we offered English 1, Intro to Entrepreneurship, and this semester we've offered those same classes, and we've also brought in an Intro to Ethnic Studies as well, and that kind of encompasses what we do here on campus.
Do you ever feel like if there's someone who comes to you maybe with a murder, criminal record, do you feel safe being around them?
Yeah, me personally, I do. I'm somebody with the conviction histories on my record as well. So I feel like being employed at the college is helping us. That alone is helping us kind of dispel some of the stigmas around people who've been incarcerated. But for anybody who's around the population, they get to know really quickly, like we're some of the most friendliest people on campus. And once you get over the notion of the judging the book by the cover, and sorry, we got a couple little ones floating around over here. We're some of the most attentive students, and I definitely know that our teachers that work inside the facilities often credit our students being the most attentive in class. They are hungry to learn, and they're actually at times begging the teacher for homework or something to do when they go back to the cell, which kind of is a flip on the narrative for students here on campus at times.
I'm wondering, because from the books I've read, they say like if you come from prison and you're trying to find job, they always look at your criminal history, like background check, and then it might make you not get the job even when you're qualified. Do you think that's a thing?
Yeah, and even still today. So when I was transitioning home from incarceration, this was in 2012, where they used to have on job applications the question, have you ever been convicted of a crime? And that was on the application. And you had two options. You could either lie about it, and if they found out later, they would fire you, or you could be honest about it. And usually when you're honest about it, they had a tendency of looking at that job application and kind of throwing it away or discarding it. I've experienced that myself where, I would apply, when I came home, I would apply to hundreds of jobs, that I qualified for on paper, and I would either not get a phone call back, I would never hear back from them, or I've also been told in the interview, once they found out I had a conviction history, that we don't hire felons here. So I've been told that. And even in like today in 2023, there's a lot of laws that have changed that is supposed to favor the person with conviction histories. I'm so sorry. So yeah, even in 2023, there have been laws that have changed here in California where they no longer ask that question on a job application, and they are not allowed to ask that in interviews as well. So if they like a candidate, if they like for instance, if they interview me for a job and they like me, they're supposed to offer me a contingent job offer, and then it would be contingent on me completing a background check. And when I go and fingerprint and they look at any convictions I have on my record, they can then choose to offer me the job anyways, or rescind the offer and give me some steps to to contest the decision of not giving me the job. So there's supposed to be some parameters. In theory, it works really well. In practice, I've still seen people denied employment even when they were qualified or if not overqualified for the position, once they learned of a conviction, even when it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. I've still seen people denied employment even, when they met all the qualifications and was offered a job previously.
Do you think if, for example, I'm denied employment because of background from being in prison and then I sue the company, do you think the law will be for me or they will be against me since I have the criminal record?
I think it would be against you. I don't know if they would word it in that sense of like it's against you because of your record, but I definitely know legally it's hard to prove. Like that was the exact reason why. And then also, I don't know if the conviction history or a felony record, if that alone is a discrimination factor in the same essence that race is or sexual orientation is. I don't think they view a criminal record in that same manner. So even if I sued and I was told that, we don't hire felons and I decided to sue, it's hard to prove that as a discriminatory factor. But like I said, there are laws though with employment where if they denied you the job, they do give you like 5 business days to contest that decision. In that contestment, you offer character reference letters, you can offer like college degrees you may have attended in the meantime, and they give you an opportunity to kind of advocate for yourself for that role. And even that doesn't guarantee you're going to get the job, but at least you get a chance to kind of prove yourself or advocate for yourself in the meantime.
Wow, that's good. Another question. So, why were you motivated to join this program, like to be part of it?
I was motivated because I feel like college really it saved my life. It gave me a purpose coming home. So I'm somebody, like I dropped out of high school growing up. I was incarcerated at 18 years old. I was facing life in prison. After serving my first term for my first conviction, I came home and I still didn't have a purpose. I didn't know what I was going to do for a job. I didn't know how I was going to survive coming home. And I only lasted in freedom for 2 months. I only made it home for 2 months. And then I ended up catching another case. I was facing life in prison again, and I was sent back to prison. And that second time coming home, I still didn't really have a game plan. I didn't know what I was going to do. But somebody talked me into coming here to Chabot College and just trying out college. And when I took a class here, I ended up loving it so much that I became a full-time student. And, I decided to go get me a college degree. And during that time, because of the impact college had on me, I would tell, I have a lot of family who've been incarcerated. I have a lot of friends who've been incarcerated. I have family who are still currently incarcerated. And I spent a lot of time advocating for college. Like I got my little brother in college when he came home from prison. I got my older brother connected to college when he came home from prison. So I spent a lot of time in my personal life sharing with other people who've been incarcerated how important college can be for us and how many opportunities it opens up for us. So in my personal life, I was already doing it. And when I learned of the work that programs like RISE were doing, it kind of was like, I was already doing it. I was living that already. I was living what we do as a program already. And it was only natural. It was a really natural fit for me to come and oversee the program and help out even more individuals in that same aspect.
Do you feel that you are overpunished? Like, why would they subject an 18-year-old to life imprisonment? Was that not harsh?
I definitely do feel like we, the conditions of our environment aren't considered in the same way they are for other people. So there's certain, I've seen, like I've even heard in the court where they have said that somebody suffered from affluenza, and it was a rich kid, and they felt like even though that he was like all the evidence went against him, they deemed it in the courts that they didn't think that incarceration would have helped him, and they think that it would have like ruined his life. And the judge decided not to send him to prison. And I always looked at that as like, well, why don't they take that same consideration for a lot of us who grew up in environments around gangs and was kind of cultured and nurtured into this environment? They don't take any of that, any of our social conditions, they don't take that into factor when they're looking at our cases or judging punishments. They just look at the facts, and they oftentimes do over convict and over punish individuals without connecting to restorative justice programs or any other alternative methods to healing somebody, and they think that sending me to prison is going to change any behaviors, and oftentimes it just makes the person worse when they come home.
Yeah. But in this situation, do you feel it changed you maybe a little bit, or it just made your situation worse because you're coming back and you have the record? It's hard to find a job.
With me, I feel like it definitely made it worse. Like Mama's at home, baby. Come here, I'll hold you. So with me, I definitely feel like it made it worse in the sense that now, I mean, one, yes, I have this felony conviction on my record. Mm-hmm. Two, I came home with no rehabilitative skills or so they didn't have any like self-help programming or job skills. I didn't learn any trades or anything. So I feel like I just spent a long time incarcerated, and when I came home, I had no job skills. I had no direction or guidance to come home. I was expected just to come home and change some of my decisions on my own. It was just all kind of self-expected, without any help or guidance. And the only thing I did learn, because you have to adapt and adjust to incarceration, you have to learn how to survive in this manner. And then I feel like when you come home without any proper guidance, you're just expected to turn off everything you've learned to survive inside. You're just expected to shut that off when you come home and just be this different person. And it's hard. It's hard to come home without any help, without any guidance. And a lot of what we do in our program here in the RISE program is that, like, helping people transition home, having people to talk to when you're having a bad day or something's not working out in your favor, or you're not getting that job you hoped and expected to get. Like, we're trying to build that community, those community resources for people coming home, people that I wish I would have had when I was getting denied from employment, or harassed by a parole officer or something.
Did you face any bullying or sexual assault, like those kind of negative impacts in the prisons? Or what? Was it just like a smooth, nice life? Was it tough?
No, it was rough. It was, I mean, not in the sexual aspect, but definitely in the danger aspect for sure. Like when I got sent to prison, I was a young man, and I got sent to a maximum security prison. Where like instantly my very first, and you're expected, like, you're living in this little box. For anyone who doesn't understand prison, it's a little, like, I don't know, 5x9 box. I don't remember like the dimension of it. It's a small cell. You're living in a cell with somebody. And I remember my very first cellie, the first thing I learned in there was how to make a weapon. That's like what you're expected to do, what you have to do. And that is like your initiation there. It's like, you're showing all the tools, you're showing how to make, and then you're expected to carry something at all times. So that was my introduction to there. It definitely wasn't a smooth ride, being there, being young, being in a maximum security setting. It was not the smoothest of sailing there.
So happy that you're sharing this with me. Is there like the way we've seen, like mostly you get your degree, but you might end up not able to use it because of, like, you might be lucky and use it, but in most cases you might not get unemployment. Why would you still encourage someone in prison to get the degree, learn? When they come out here, the society will judge them. They will not be given a fair chance as someone who never was in prison. Like, they'll always be treated differently.
I would definitely encourage, like, one, I feel like education is so much more than employment. Like, just being educated, it does so much more for somebody than just like equaling the job. Like, oh, get this degree and you're gonna get this job. It teaches people critical thinking. But it teaches so much critical thinking skills aside from just the employment opportunities outside of education, for one. Like, I really do feel like it helped the way I think about things. It helped the way I react to things. Like the more education I got, the more I learned how to just be a citizen out here, and not reacting in ways that I was used to reacting to things inside. That's one. Two, a lot of the things we do in the RISE program is help people find like what they're passionate about and linking that to a degree. Because what I don't want to see people getting is just going to college because somebody told you to, or getting a degree because they said that this degree or this field pays more. And oftentimes I see, if you're not truly vested in that, you're not going to go 100% to pursue that field. Or if you do happen to get a job in it, you might not last. You might, get burnt out in it because you're only chasing it for the money. And what I have seen, that if you're truly passionate about something, you will find that job in it. You might get shut out from a couple of jobs. You might get told no. You might find those employers who don't hire people with records or have those stigmas. Mm-hmm. But if you're truly passionate about it, you will keep on pushing forward. And I know it myself, like once I figured out what I wanted to do, so like I got my bachelor's degree in sociology, I got my master's degree in social work, and I knew this was a path that I wanted to do. And like when I was on that path, like I got denied from employment dozens of times, like even to the point where, like, even with the county, like offered a job and then I did a background check and they didn't hire me. I could have just said, man, like F education, like this ain't doing nothing for me, I'm gonna just go back to what I'm used to. I could have done that. Like that would have been super easy to do. Or the other option is just like keep on pushing forward. And the way I looked at it is like, if they didn't want me there, like I didn't want to be there anyways. Like if they don't like folks like myself or people with backgrounds like myself, then that wasn't a place for me. And I just kept on pushing forward in the sense of like, I knew there was going to be a job that was going to work out. And I always looked at life as things happen for a reason. Things don't happen for a reason, and what I'm looking for is going to come to me when it's supposed to come to me. I've always looked at life that way, and when that door got shut in my face, there was a bigger, better door that opened up in the future. And that's how every denial that ever happened to me in my life since I've been home has always worked out that way. A door slammed in my face and a better opportunity opened up in the future. And I always just try to share that with other people. It's like, man, you just got to keep on pushing forward. You got to trust the process and just understand that if this person doesn't want to give you a job, there's 10 other people that will elsewhere. And you just got to find your path and connect to those who want you around.
This professor said, if you don't get a job, then create one for you.
Come on, he was right.
Yeah, like if they don't give you jobs, then create one. You need capital, but it's possible. Okay, last one. One advice you can give someone who just comes out of prison, or someone who has just gotten a sentence, like just one advice.
All right, so for somebody who just got sent or might be going in, I would just say, like, stay strong, find your people, listen to what the older folks is teaching you. Like, there's some people with some good games, some good advice for someone to enter inside, and just be cautious of people trying to play you, but really just find your people and stick with them. For someone coming home, almost similarly, is like find your community. There's a lot of programs out here. There's a lot of support out here, but oftentimes we're so used to doing things on our own. Like when you go to prison, like no one's doing anything for you. No one's teaching you or handling something for you. You got to kind of stand on yours and handle it. And you're used to that. So you come home and you're just like, I'm going to figure this out on my own. I'm going to find my own way or find my own. I don't need nobody for nothing. And like, there's so many people out here, like we waiting to help. We waiting to help somebody coming home. I'd love to help somebody transition a lot better than I did, or not have to jump through the hurdles I had to jump through. So similarly is find your community out here and find the people who are doing positive work. Don't go backwards. don't go reconnecting with the homies, or don't go finding your folks who are selling dope or carrying the guns around or whatever they got going on in life. You come home and you find that community, and you're gonna repeat the same mistakes you did the first time. If you come home and find people who are doing something different or doing something positive, all of a sudden those positive traits will start to seep into your life.
Thank you.
Yep, for sure. Yep. Shyla, there you go. You can participate too.